Excuse me. Oh, I was wetting my whistle. I'm about to talk about some comic books. Hey there. Welcome back. Once again, it is time for the golden age of DC Comics, 365 days, where I take this beloved hardcover coffee table book given to me about 2 decades ago by one of my best friends. This has been surfing my coffee table ever since, being a constant source of comic book shop style conversations, the kind I wish to recreate with you here today. Thank you so much for tuning in. You literally are the best part of this show. These conversations that we're having, been having, will continue to have. Leave those comments in the comment sections. Keep it going. Thank you so very much. I use this 365 days book for its intended purpose. We're going to open up to today's date. It's Halloween, October the 31st. And we're going to look at some comic book art of an antediluvian age. We are going to read the blurb, and then we're going to talk about comic books. And guess what? We're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. The golden age of DC Comics runs between 1938 and 1955. The Silver Age between 1956 and 1970. The Bronze Age, I'm a Bronze Age baby myself, between 1970 and 1984 or 5. And after 1985 is called the Copper Age. I get these definitions and terms and standards from the glossary of the most current edition of Overstreet's Comic Book Price Guide. And it's a great resource. This is very valuable. I'll be getting one next year as well. I'm in. All in. While I got your attention and throwing some books under your nose, there are links in the description to all of the Amazon pages for all 4 of these books. I'm going to suggest, from a noob to a veteran, if you don't have these 2 books, stop, drop, and giggle. You're being given a great suggestion. And this is How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way by Stan Lee and John Buscema. This is Understanding Comics, The Invisible Art by Scott McCloud. These are really interesting books because, listen, this is a comic book. It's a publication. It's a magazine. We are on the outside of it, looking in. And we're given this, an insider looking out. From Understanding Comics, it's a crash course in art history, and it's about sequential art. It's about putting 2 images next to each other, and therefore producing a story. And it has expectations and rules to it as well, in a way. And it's a really, really great look inside comic books. And also, this show's about form, about function, and for me, the best part, it's about perspective, literal perspective. We're asked to, we know when something's drawn bad or off. You can see it. Your mind registers. It really does, and it's great to have this the love of our comic books. And we have these books that we can read. And if you have any, I got some great suggestions from Thinking Critical last Saturday of other books to read. Tune into that channel as well. I'll leave a link in the description to Wes at Thinking Critical. His Saturday show is really good. I'm on it enough, and I'm blessed to be on it. And if you've come here from Thinking Critical, let me know. You've mentioned Doc, and you get half off your next bowl of soup. So let's get to it. We're going to open this book up to today's date, October the 31st. It's Halloween. And of course, there's something horror related going on in today's selection. Just a word real quick. I hope you are clobbering your problems and not being clobbered by them. Over and out. All right, this is art by Ruben Moreira from the cover of House of Mystery, number 24, March of 1954, a year before the end of the Golden Age. Oh, let's look at that art. Ha 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 ha! With your beauty and my black magic, we'll have the world at our feet. So we have a witch here, but is that which witch is that? I mean, those obviously look like Bunsen beakers, and is that a scientist? or really a witch? Let's read the blurb and find out if we can find more about this story. Halloween. Witches, whether terrifying or tantalizing, are more than the symbol of Halloween. It's their celebration. In this tale, it takes two to create that rare combination of brains and beauty. But this time, it's not the beauty that's an illusion. As in so many of DC's horror stories, what seems to be uncanny events turn out to be a series of mortal machinations instead. The explanation of the witch's tricks, involving everything from stuntmen to plastic surgery, is far less credible than simple sorcery would have been. So I kind of guessed that right when it came to the trappings of the witch. Those aren't the trapping. That's not a cauldron. That's not eye of newt or wing of bat or sock of stinky. Or I made that one up because I was being a stinker. But yeah, I'm going to call this a slow news day. There's not much to talk about. You know, there's horror comics. DC didn't go full into horror comics. Horror comics were pretty graphic as well, and pretty much spurred the Comics Code Authority seal of approval, ending the Golden Age. But one thing I want to talk about, sure, the book is called The Golden Age of DC Comics, yes. But is the content all about DC Comics? No, we also talk about other publishers as well, especially the ones DC bought. Fawcett, Charlton, Quality, the list goes on and on. But I want to spend a few minutes talking about what became Marvel Comics. Timely Comics. I'm going to read this from, you guessed it, the Wiki. ATST. My costume this year is Rich Evans from Red Letter Media. Yeah! I'm sorry. But, I mean, I love Rich. Don't get me wrong. I love Red Letter Media. I watch them all the time. It's one of my favorites. But Timely is the common name for the group of corporations that was the earliest comic book arm of American publisher Martin Goodman, and the entity that would evolve by the 1960s to become Marvel Comics. Okay, founded in 1939, during the era called the Golden Age of comic books, Timely was an umbrella name for the comics division of pulp magazine publisher Goodman, whose business strategy involved having a multitude of corporate entities all producing the same product. The company's first publication in 1939 used Timely Publications at his existing company at the McGraw-Hill Building, 330 West 42nd Street in New York City. New York City. Don't eat salsa from New York City. Remember that one? Oh, no. In 1942, it moved to the 14th floor of the Empire State Building, where it remained until 1951. In 2016, Marvel announced that Timely Comics would be the name of a new imprint of low-priced reprint comics. I wonder how that's going. But its creation in 1939 with the emerging medium of comic books proving hugely popular, and the first superheroes setting the trend, pulp magazine publisher Martin Goodman founded Timely Publications. His first effort was Marvel Comics #1. This is October of 1939 and featured the first appearances of the Human Torch, the original Human Torch. And also the anti-hero Namor the Submariner. Indeed. And Kate would be followed by Kazar the Great. Any X-Men fan out there knows who Kazar is. And eventually eventually Captain America Comics #1 was published in March of 1941. Going on sale, that's its cover date, is March 1941. The cover date is for when you take it off the newsstand or spinner rack. So it goes on sale like about 3 months before that. So going on sale in December of 1940, a year before the bombing of Pearl Harbor, you had that famous Captain America, punching, AH, not to be confused with Johnny Depp's ex-wife. You know what I mean? There are just things you shouldn't say on your show, I guess, if you want to play nice with ye old algorithm. So yeah, you have that, and comics have always been political. No, not the way you want to use it. No. And but yeah, so this was Timely Comics, and Timely's other major competitors were Fawcett with Captain Marvel, Quality Comics with Plastic Man and Blackhawk, and Lev Gleason Publications with the original Daredevil, not to be confused with the unrelated 1960s Marvel hero. This is right. Timely would later become Atlas Comics, and then Atlas Comics would become Marvel Comics. Yeah, and that is like a brief history of DC Comics' what came to be their main competitor. So back in the Golden Age, their main competitor was actually Fawcett Comics, which DC eventually, absorbed, by purchasing them. But Timely Comics over time became Marvel Comics by the 60s. And so since then, we've had the notion of the big two, when in fact there are still several other publications still out there even today, each with their own intellectual properties, characters, and their own continuities and their own universes. There's Image Comics, there's Boom Comics, there's Dynamite, there's IDW, there's Dark Horse. There are so many different publications. This is one. This is called the Bad Kids Press. This is here you go. If you want to look them up, go for it. This is the independent publication of my very own local comic book shop. I'm blessed. I live in the Boston area. I'm blessed to have several comic book shops, and I've grown up having several comic book shops. So the closest one for me in my village square is called Kamikaze. It's in Davis Square, Somerville, and they have this insanely huge store full of vintage toys, and they've got great back issues. And they got a great staff too. But what I did last time I was there, just 2 weeks ago, I believe, I love buying comic books. It gives me joy to buy comic books. And I took a chance on a title I had no idea about, on a story I had no clue, and on an art team that I'm unfamiliar with. But guess what? It was a good experience. It was fun. It's just a nice, entertaining Western story. And I really appreciated that. So yeah, hopefully you can still go out there and try something that maybe you never would have bought in the first place, and be like, you know what? I want to give this a chance. And giving comic books a chance is a wonderful idea. Any day of the week, not just Wednesdays, huh? Which is new release day. Well, you have a great day. Thank you so much. We've been talking about comic books, and we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we'll find out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. I would love to earn your subscription. We make regular content here. We make daily content here. And I would love to earn your subscription. So thank you so much for tuning in. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again tomorrow in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye.